a very special guest today. Could you do me a favor and introduce yourself?
My name is Petra Sanders. I'm 47 years old.
Yeah, and I understand you did some time in the youth authority, correct?
Yes,
So
7 years, 8 months.
7 years and 8 months. Wow, and
All my teenage years, from 14 to 22.
14 to 22. Damn. So what was it that got you, how did you end up in the youth authority?
I committed second-degree murder and a drug and assault charge.
Oh man. So yeah, it's crazy. Is you were lucky that you were a minor because that could have had heavy consequences. So what
Yeah, being in the gang too.
so what was it that drove you to that first? Like how did you end up in that situation?
Well, my mother worked a lot, my dad worked a lot, and I was always a good kid in school, but I ended up being around a group of friends and started gang banging at 11 and got caught up.
Oh man. And it's crazy, because I hear that a lot from like a lot of the male ex-male wards at a young age, but I've hardly hear that among females, which is crazy because I know it exists, but not that young. What was it like? What attracted you to that lifestyle? I know you said your mom and dad were working a lot, but what was it that made you say like I want to be part of that?
Okay, well, I came to California in 1975, so I was barely 2 years old.
Mhm.
And where I grew up on the east side of Los Angeles, which is called the Pueblos, I actually grew up there. That's how I became a gang member, being around those people and seeing the lifestyle, oh, easy money, fast money, want to sell dope, stuff like that. My parents didn't know what I was doing.
Mm.
I never went to juvenile hall. First time getting called doing anything, straight to YA.
Damn.
I
How
fought
how
my
did
case in Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall for like 9 months before I went to YA.
how was that? Because I know when you're a kid, time moves a lot. Like it could seem like a long 9 months could seem like a long time compared to when you get older. Like that shit just flies by. But when you're a kid, how was that fighting that for 9 months in juvenile hall?
Oh my God, it was so hard. You never knew what in juvenile hall you by yourself, you in your single room by yourself at nighttime. And it was kind of like hard because you can't sleep, you ain't got no TV, and you ain't got to worry about your mama telling you get off the phone. You can't get no snacks when you want no snacks. You can't talk on the phone. I mean, it was so hard. And you can only get a visit on the weekends
Mhm.
unless you go to court during the week. So it was hard for me not being able to see my parents and my siblings.
Damn. And when you fought your case, you said you were 14, so you were never at risk of like fighting a fitness, right? Like it was always a juvenile case.
Yes, it was always a juvenile
Okay.
case.
And so when you're fighting your case, how did you feel when they said you're committed to the youth authority? Because I'm assuming at that point they probably threw this crazy sentence at you. And
Which was
basically,
life.
yeah, life. Okay, yeah. So basically, and they say life, and it's basically juvenile life. How was
Yeah,
it
and
when?
see, I didn't understand that.
Hmm,
So me being a bad person that I was, I actually went in and being a knucklehead.
yeah.
So I went up there game banging, fighting, at Los Padrinos in um El Centro. I
Okay.
was at both of them, or East Lake, I believe that's what it is. And 3 months later, I went to the California Youth Authority in February of 1988.
So let me ask about
Yeah.
that because I know for a lot of people, a lot of people I talked to before, it's different because we either had, if you're up north, you went to northern reception. If you're from down south, you went to southern reception. How does it? How's it for the females? Where do you go? Do you go directly to Ventura, or do you go
Yes,
to? Oh, so you go directly to Ventura. So
yes, I went directly to Ventura.
how does that feel when the is it going to be? Is it the YA van or a bus that picks you up to take
The
you?
YA band.
The van. How did that feel when that rolled up for you? Like you're on your way out of here. Like you're going to the state now.
Oh, it was like it was crazy, but we kind of made it fun because my two crime partners, all three of us went at the same time.
Mm,
So we was all on this bus ride together, and we was able to talk. You know, we just couldn't get up and stuff because we was all shackled. You know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And actually, me and my female crime partner, we were shackled together. We was in the front of the bus, and it was just it became scary. Like the further we was going, because we
Yeah.
didn't know like exactly where we were going. So it was like, dang, like how our parents gonna get here? You
Yeah.
know, to visit and stuff like that. And then we couldn't get visits for like 90 days. And oh, it was just like it was crazy. We was able to get a package, but I'm like, I don't want no package. My mom was able to send me a TV because I had my own room
Hmm.
and stuff. And then I kind of started feeling like a little home, no lie, until I started knowing people, getting to know people. And then I ended up with a job working in the kitchen. And
So
they finally let me go to school, which was fun.
so
And that's where I got my high school diploma.
in Ventura, on the female section, is it separated? Like, is there an orientation you go to, like an orientation cottage, or do you right away when you get there, or do they put you in the cottage that you're gonna be housed in?
No, it's like an orientation cottage first.
Hmm.
And because they go by your ages and your crime.
Yeah.
I was on the orientation. I was on that unit for like maybe about 2 months,
Okay.
and then I went to this unit called ETL Taryon, if I'm not mistaken. We just have abbreviations for 'em.
Yeah.
I was on one side because it's 50 rooms, 25 and 25. I was on one side. I was like in room 16, and my crime partner, she was on the other side. Um, like room 20 something, but we had daytime together. We went to school together. We ate together.
Hmm.
So I didn't understand in the first separating us on different halls because we was always on the same cottage. I was like a year and something older than her.
Hmm.
So when I turned 18, I went to this other college called Montecito, MC.
Yeah.
That's the abbreviation. I went there. And a year and something later, she ended up being there. And that's where we both paroled from. That was a house cottage right there until parole.
So when you went there, and you're a little younger, right? You said you're 14 years old, or maybe or 14, 15 years old when you get there.
Yes, I
Did
was
you
14.
did you feel a little
No,
bit
I
more?
was I was 14 going on 15.
Did you feel a little bit more pumped up that your crime partner was there? Like, oh, we about to fuck this place up, or were you more like, okay, let me figure
Well,
out what's happening first before we get into that?
yeah, but no, not only that, people I was in juvenile hall with and people that I went to elementary and junior high
Hmm.
school with, I started seeing them and we talking about Crips and Bloods. So at one point, we was all friends and everything. And then one time we had a Crip and Blood riot. I got a 6-month time out for that because they said I created it. I was the ringleader for that, for the Bloods.
Could you
And
go into
then
that a little bit?
I was,
How did that crack?
um, it, actually, some guys, some OG Crips and Bloods guys was gonna have a riot or whatever, but for some reason they made it a female thing.
Hmm.
So it was the Crip Bloods, I mean the Crip girls against the Blood girls on my unit, but we were all getting along, and I'm not understanding why we end up having this riot. So anyway, we agreed. We agreed. We end up having a riot because we thought it was a joke. The Blood girls,
Yeah.
we thought it was a joke, but it really wasn't a joke. Um, Somebody that was close with us, which was a Crip guy, he really said it was going to go down, and for us to be prepared, and we was. And as we was going to school, um, we had started kind of the riot, but it was actually a guy riot. Their units was like right next to ours.
Okay.
And when we go out to go to school, everybody's in different lines at the cottage. And we started fighting the girls and the girls, the Crips and the Bloods, but we didn't finish the riot. The riot actually ended up being with the guys, the Crips and the Bloods, and some Hispanics. I don't know what was going on with that, but they tried to make it seem like it was a girls' Crip and Blood riot, which it really wasn't, because we really didn't know what was going on. We were just told to pretend like we were gonna have a riot,
Yeah.
and we end up getting time ass like dumb butts.
So basically, so you're supposed to be the distraction where all of the attention is supposed to go over there, and that's where they really kick it off over there.
Yeah, because they never really had enough security. if a riot was to jump out in public.
Yeah. And how were the riots for the females? Did they use packs? Did they use blades, or was it just basically fists, like throwing punches?
Well, working in the kitchen, you can do a day. We had like different variety of classes. We can make weapons. So yeah, there were weapons made. We used to make pruno juice. We used to do all type of stuff. I'm telling you, I learned a lot being there.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of trades. I went to school for anthropology, college, completed that because I wanted to study people,
Yeah.
And I I had my first boyfriend, which is my son's father. I was 15 and he was 19. And the first time I had sex, I was 18. I had sex with him. I got pregnant. I had my son NYA at
Well, it's
19.
crazy. How did that happen? Like I don't want to know the details of the actual event, but like how did you guys get close enough to that happening?
We went to school together and we worked together. It was female and male co-ed classes, working together and going to school together. And we had cooking class together.
Okay.
And she was like a really naive lady. And it was a male and female.
Petra.
And we snuck in a bathroom and we had sex. And 6 months later, I found out I was pregnant because I did not know I was pregnant until my mom actually called up to YA and had them give me a pregnancy test. This is really crazy, but it's so true. And kind of find out I was pregnant, but I wasn't the only girl that had got pregnant. I was like maybe number 9.
Damn.
Out of it was like 30 people got pregnant up there.
Damn.
I had one friend, she got maxed out. She had like 5 kids there.
Damn.
So 5 different baby daddies, right?
God damn. And so how does that feel? Like to be like, oh shit, I'm about to have a baby in jail. I'm already in jail. It's not like you were on the streets and you went to jail. It's like you're already there and you got pregnant. How does that feel, like knowing like, oh fuck, I'm about to conceive a child in here?
Oh, well, I thought I wasn't gonna be able to ever see my baby.
Damn.
And because that's what I thought. Because the people that were having the kids before me, some of them was at more of a high risk. So I'm not understanding how they got pregnant if they was more at a high risk, because those are the people they like really watch,
Yeah.
But kind of find out as I was going through my classes and whatnot that 6 months after I had my baby, I can go to El Centro where they house them up with the kids.
Yeah.
But I didn't want that because that was going to be a further drive for my mom. And then plus I was going to have to do all of my time. And I said, oh, no, forget that. I'd rather go home when I'm ready. I mean, on my due date, which was April the 25th, 1995. And I got paroled on that day. So.
Yeah. What happened to your child? Who took care of your child?
My mom, my dad, my grandmother, and my siblings, and his dad and his dad parents.
Did they find out or investigate who it was that got you pregnant? How you got pregnant? Did they look into that? Did you get a write up for that? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I got a 6-month time out for that. That's what led me to get out April the 25th, 1995. But by the time they finished investigating, my son's father was out.
Okay. You know what's crazy is that it seems like over there when you get caught for anything, is it a 6-month time ad for everything?
No, you can get 6 months to a year to 2 years. And if you're already over the age of 21 and you get tried as an adult committing a crime while you're already there, it's a possibility you can end up in Chowchilla if you're a girl,
Yeah. The only reason I ask, because I know with me when I was in Nellis in YTS, and when I was in Nellis, if we kick off a riot, like we get like 90 days. So it's like we like, it seems like they're a little bit harder on you guys for a lot of
I told you for the pre-riot we got a 3-month time ad. I got a 6-month time ad for getting pregnant.
Okay.
And would tell them information because I wouldn't tell who the father was.
So they like, how was the interrogation for that? Where they like did they take you to like lockup, or how did they try to
Yeah,
interrogate
I
you
was in
to
lockup
get
for
that?
2 days, but it didn't matter to me because I'd already been in lockup for fighting anyway, so
Yeah,
I was immune to that. But as far as the interrogation, they couldn't really they used to just threaten me and say, "Oh, we know who the baby daddy is. We just waiting on you to tell us the name." And I would never tell who the name was. And of course, they knew who the baby daddy was, but he was already shipped to Nellis because he was going home in 3 weeks. So by the time the investigation was over, like I said, he was already at home.
yeah. And so I know what a lot of people are gonna be curious about is the dynamics there when it comes to like how the interaction was among the female wards. Was it split up along racial lines? Was it split up around like organizations like Blood, Crips, Southside, North Daniels? Or was it?
No, it wasn't.
It
No, it
wasn't.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
So how did everything work? Like how did the beefs come along, or the fights, or how did those end up
Sometimes
happening?
people, as far as you know, you house with a lot of females, so
Mhm.
everybody's not going to get along, you know. So sometimes somebody like you, sometimes somebody don't like you. Um, whether you Hispanic, Latino, any of that didn't matter. No, no, that didn't matter. You know,
Mhm.
it goes by like certain people do be shot callers, certain people don't be shot callers. You choose to be a follower, then you in a stupid crowd, and I was
Yeah,
never a follower. So
that's trip. That's trip. So it's less gang banging, more just like personal issues that causes like the drama there.
yeah, pretty much.
And so I know you said that you had a boyfriend in there. Did you ever see when female wards would be with male staff members? Because in Nellis that happened where we had I've seen female staff be with the male wards, and I've heard stories of Ventura of that happening. Did you ever
Yeah,
see that?
right as we speak today, um, as we speak today, there is a female staff. Her name is Tammy. I can't remember her last name, but her first name is Tammy, from Ventura. She's right now married to a male inmate. Well, they live together now. They married. They've been together for like the last 10, 15 years.
Damn. And did you ever
She
see
no
that on?
longer works there. And there's a lot of staff. Um, while I was even there, male and female messing around with certain inmates. I just never was one of the people. I had a crush on a guy, but I never pursued him like that.
How was the
He started with all the girls anyway.
what was that again?
He had flirted with the girls anyway, so I never looked at him as
Okay.
somebody to mess around. Period. And plus, that's taking me out of my character to mess
Yeah.
around with his hard.
For the how was that looked upon by the other inmates, if there were or other wards, I should say, if there was a female ward that was being with the staff member, did they look at her differently, or was it like, oh, that's part of how it rolls in here?
Yes and no on both sides.
Okay. So there were times where people would look at her like, oh, like what the fuck, and then there was other times where they'd be like, that guy's cool, like leave it alone.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you mentioned, and I've heard before from one of the staff members that I interviewed, that Ventura had a lot of different programs there, and you were talking about anthropology and all of that. How did you decide which classes you wanted to?
I'm sorry, that's my daughter calling.
No problem. Yeah, so you were mentioning that there were a lot of different classes that you were able to take in Ventura, a lot of different training. How did you decide which classes you wanted to take?
um, Meeting people. I had a very, very religious counselor
Hmm.
by the name of John D. Um, Mr. Duncan,
Hmm.
John Duncan. He was very, very strict on us and stuff like that. And he kind of made us even though he was strict, he was like a father figure, and
Yeah.
he made you be focused on yourself first.
Hmm.
So I started writing in the journal, and he used to tell us write down your main goals, what you want to be in life, what you want to do in life, because you had a lot of time as a teenager, but still being a teen, to do these things. And so I started focusing doing stuff like that. I wanted to own my own business, so I went into the vending machine class, the apprentice class. Um, I decided I didn't want to do that, so I wanted to own my own restaurant. So I went into culinary arts, which I loved. I completed that. And I used to be into the astrology a lot. So I went to school for anthropology because I thought I wanted to study people. And
Yeah.
I no longer want to study people. I just want to take care of people. So I've been in the nursing caregiving field for like the last 25 years.
So let me ask for how was the anthropology class there? Like, you guys actually dig up artifacts, or like, do they take you places? Like, how did that work?
No, you actually dig up. I mean, we had computers.
Okay.
Then so you actually get to learn, you got to read, and there's books they supply you with, movies, videos, they supply you with, and real teachers, like real teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy because in a lot of other institutions we didn't have anything like that. So that's
I
just
used to
nuts.
want to be on the news, a news anchor, so we had started this class called CNN News from Ventura.
Yeah.
And we learned how to put the tapes, to do the audio, put the tapes together. It was just so amazing. I learned a lot of skills. A lot of us, I'm in contact with a lot of people on the CYA page. I know you see it,
Yeah.
CYA baby group. And we have picnics every year and stuff. We just can't have one this year.
And so you went through all of that. The first time you went, like, for your parole consideration date, did you go home on that day, or did they extend it? Like, no, come back a year, come back 6 months, we'll try it again.
Um, the first time I actually went was on my son's fourth birthday, which was January the 15th, 1995. And I was on a I didn't even know I was going up for parole
Hmm.
because, like I said, I know my parole was in April. So I
Yeah.
went up in January because I didn't know I was gonna get released early, and they was like, "Oh no, you still on your time at." So we'll call you back in April, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Shit, that's only 3 months," and I
Yeah.
actually got paroled April 1995, and I was like, "Whoa."
And how old were you again?
I was 22 when I got released.
22. So you still had 3 years of parole. Did they
Yeah.
did you have to do the full 3 years of parole?
No, I got an honorable discharge. I was released April the 25th, 1995, and I got an honorable discharge November of 1996.
Okay. And did you have to go to board for that too?
No,
So they just let you off. They just like,
they sent it through the mail, and I was so shocked. I was like, "Whoa, I'm
how,
no
how did
longer on parole." What?
how did it feel? Like, so you're what, 23 at the time?
Yes,
So since the age of 14, you've had some kind of uh attachment to the county or state, right? And now you're
yes.
23 years old, and that's gone. How did that feel?
It felt so good. And then I was able to walk around and not worry if the police was coming to get me. I'll have a one-off for my arrest, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
you know, and it actually really made me realize, okay, you're no longer held by the state. Go find you a good career job. And I've been, like I said, I've been doing this caregiving and I'm nursing since I've been 23 years old. I've been doing it for the last 25 years. I'll be 48 next month. And right now, it's such a blessing. Because I have a lot of friends. I have never been back to jail. I have never been any of that. I have
So
no contacts with the police since I've been released from jail.
let me ask
I was in
about
one domestic violence
about
relationship with my daughter's father,
mhm.
and I got out of that real fast, and I was only 25 at that time.
So let me ask, how did what made you? I know you said you wanted to take like you were interested in taking care of people, and what made you want to get into like caregiving, where it's that specific of taking care of people?
My dad had took sick in 1999, and he was back in my hometown, which is Texas. So I went and I took care of him for a little bit, which was considered caring for someone being a caregiver.
Mhm.
And once he passed away, 5 years later, my mother took sick with cancer as well. So I ended up taking care of it. So I said, this is the field for me. And I took care of my grandmother, my sister, my son. I lost my son and my sister 2018, five
I'm
months
sorry
and
to
two
hear
weeks
that.
apart.
Sorry to hear that.
Mhm. So I had to care for them. I've cared for all of them.
So so you said that you stood out of jail since you got out. What has been has caregiving been the motivating force behind that, or were there other things that contributed to you
Um,
your
just the
success?
caregiving and being able to help someone that needs help and being able to be a companion to people that don't have family or they have family and their family members put them there because they don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
So, and I love to take care of people. I love elderly people and I like working with disabled people.
And when you got out, let me rewind it a little bit. When you got out, were you able to reunite with your oldest child? Were you able to
Yes, I paroled to my parents' house. Yes, my son was
okay?
4.
So your son was 4. How did that feel? Like take us back to that moment. You're out
Oh,
and finally get to see not only not of only a few hours, like you really get to see your son like daily. How does that feel?
it was overwhelming. It was like great. Like, um, being able to walk him to school because school was like right down the street. Being able to walk him to school, being able to walk him to school, take him to the park, play basketball with him. I taught him how to swim, help him with his homework. I mean, it was like happy. I'm like, this is mommy duty right here.
Yeah.
Mommy and my mom and my dad was like, okay, they've always told him, when your mom come home, your mom gonna do this with you. Your mom gonna do this with you. So they installed it, and like when I got my first boyfriend, oh my God, it was so hilarious. We were sitting in the living room one day, and I had told him, I was like, because my son, he was like so attached to me. He
Yeah.
was so attached to me when I first came home. I couldn't go to the bathroom in the middle of the night without him being right there at the door, like, mommy,
So
you
excited
know.
to see you.
And yeah, we built a very very good relationship. And I was dating this guy for like 6 months, so I decided to invite him into the home one time, and we were gonna watch a movie with my son. And I don't know, my son went to the guy went to the bathroom, so my son came and sit in the middle of us as the guy was coming out the door, the bathroom door. And so he was like, I'm sitting in the middle. He was like, and don't kiss my mom no more. Oh my God, the guy went to go kiss me and he smacked the guy and just like, put his hands like this. He was like, didn't I tell you don't kiss my mommy no more? And I was like, oh Lord. And from that day forward, I don't know, we just grew up like a super nice bond. And I had my second child when he turned like 7.
Okay.
And
So
at first he wasn't happy about it because he
no.
really didn't know nothing about no babies.
Yeah.
So
So
he used to be
there's
like, take her back.
so the rest of your kids you had them when you were out. Does your son, your oldest, did he have any knowledge? Like, does he have any memories of you not being there? Because it sounds like he was relatively young, or in his mind was like all of his memories. Were you always there?
Um, Actually, all his memories, like I was always there
Okay,
because I have a sister, like I said, may she rest in peace now. We look so much alike. He used to get us mixed up, so I guess he figured that she was me,
yeah.
you know. And I only have one other child now, which is my daughter. She's 22, and decided not to have any more kids after her.
And so you're out. You're taking care of your different family members, different people, and you become a caregiver. Did you find that? because one thing I talked about with the one of my previous guests is he pointed out like life is way harder out here than it is in there. Did you ever find that like, man, like it's rough out here, like like life could be pretty difficult, and how did you deal with that?
It's something you got to cope with because it's really true. It's harder out here than it is out there. Because it's more dangerous out here than it is in there. You know. But you learn how to cope with it on a daily day basis, based on your actions, based on your daily actions. You know. Your right, like I was always told, your right stops where the next person's begin, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you know what your actions can lead up to.
At any time, did you ever think like, man, fuck this, it's easier in there, like I'll just go back, but then like you stop yourself from doing that, or at any time, or at all times where you just like, nah, you know what, it's hard, but I got to keep pushing forward?
Hell no, I ain't thought about going back. I have said, it's hard as hell, but you got to keep going. You have to motivate yourself, like I said. I
Mhm.
mean, it came down to where I became homeless one time. I didn't want to go back, live with my parents, and stuff like that. I let my kids go live with my parents, but I refused to
Yeah.
because I messed up, and I got myself together, but I never got on drugs. Never got on drugs.
How did you avoid that? Because I know in the youth authority is fucking full of drugs. Like every institution I went to, I never went to an institution where there was no drugs. Yeah, and there's how did you avoid like getting like like making that part of your lifestyle?
Even in there, I have friends that was doing, different drugs and stuff like that. The only thing I've ever did was marijuana. And I said I didn't want to do that because I didn't know where the marijuana was coming from. I was always told when I first told my mom that I smoked the marijuana before I went to start fighting my case. She have always told me, if you don't see that person roll it, don't smoke it.
Yeah.
So I'm one of them people. I cherish what my parents and my grandparents have always told me. And the only thing I ever did as far as any alcohol was the pruno.
Bruno.
I learned how to make the pruno, so we made pruno. But I never smoked any of the weed that we had, any of the drugs, none of that. Like I said, I've never been a follower.
Yeah.
Never been a follower. And nobody can pressure me to do anything.
Yeah. And
I'm doing
so
it for a while.
once you get out, you're off parole, you're taking care of everything. You're moving on with your life. Did you ever look back like, man, there was some good things that I learned in there? And if so, what were those things that you learned in YA that you were able to apply uh, to your normal everyday life?
Um, well, that's when God like really started blessing me. Like, okay, you free, so this is what you make your life.
Mhm.
And like I said, I started progressing, meeting people, and when people tell you good things about yourself and they say good, I used to meet a lot of people on a bus and stuff, elderly ladies and stuff, telling me they God sent me to them, and God sent them to me. I'm a good person, you know, and there's something about me, you know, and continue to live a good life and take care of people, which was so funny. I'm like, how did this person not take care of people, you
Yeah.
know? And it's I don't know. I just love it, and I know this is me,
Yeah.
my heart. Once you lose my trust, it's hard to gain it back. That's one
And
thing. I don't hold grudges, and I don't do enemies.
so let me ask, now that you're out and you have time to reflect back on your previous life, would you say that YA, like the system of the California Youth Authority, was a success for you, or did you just happen to like pick up everything on your own and you got lucky, or I just maybe you really didn't take their knowledge, but you applied your own knowledge, or was it part of what they taught you that helped you become successful?
Um, to me, because they say, oh. how you gonna be rehabilitated or whatever. To me, that means to go back and do something that you did. So I taught my own self because they didn't teach me anything. They just housed me.
Mm-hmm.
And the
No.
teachers that I had, and my one counselor, well, the two counselors that I had, they were both. One was Jewish, one was Baptist or Christianity or whatever. So and I had practiced Islam while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that was the best religion for me. So I learned a lot from the imam that was there and the two counselors and myself, and by reading.
So like the system itself wasn't much of a factor for your success. It was more what you picked up just on your own, correct? You know what's crazy is
Yeah.
because I feel I had that same experience because when I was there, I really didn't learn much in school. When I went to school, mostly I would just fight. So I took the GED. Like fuck, school's not gonna teach me shit. And then like none of their rehabilitation efforts really seemed to connect. You know what I mean? It just seems like they're just saying all kinds of words and shit. They really weren't saying anything. Did
Oh,
you
I
feel?
got my high school diploma.
Okay, okay, that'll work.
And I got it right here in my living room. Let me show you. I think I might be the only one that got my high school diploma still. This is my high school diploma right here.
Let's see what it says.
And
It
it
says
even
the
says Mary B. Perry, 1992.
1992.
Yep, February 1992.
How
It was
old were?
given to me, but I actually graduated. We had a graduation August of 1991,
Okay,
but we got our high school diplomas in February of 92.
was that the year you're supposed to graduate? 91.
I was supposed to, yeah. hmm
Oh wow, so you graduated on time and everything. That's crazy. And
Yeah,
h-
because my birthday is at the end of the year. My birthday in October.
so how was school in there? Like were there a lot of fights among different people, like different cottages? Was there conflicts, or was it just mainly you go over there and you learn, or if you have co-ed, you try to, you know what I mean, try to hook up with the
Well,
boyfriend or
see,
whatever?
if the longer we be good, the longer we be good. I mean, all the cottages. The longer we be good, the more co-ed things we'll be able to have. Like Valentine dance, we'll be able to have. We'll be able to play baseball with the guys. It'll be like two girl cottages against one guy cottage, stuff like that. The longer we were good, everybody, the more functions we can have.
Yeah.
Other than that, we go by days and 7 days a week. So this cottage to be on the field at this time, or that cottage to be on the field at that time,
Do you
stuff
feel
like
that?
that.
Do you feel that co-ed environment kind of kept things calm and kept them a little bit more mellow? Because I know if you hear about other institutions like YTS, Chad, Preston, Nellis, they were all pretty crazy, and Ventura was a little bit more calm. Do you think it was because of that, because of the co-ed?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I do.
That's crazy. You think that they would try to establish more of that, but I don't know. That's kind of crazy. Like, because if that worked there, right? Because like that was kind of the model institution, right? Ventura had a lot of
Yes.
the programs. They had it was a lot calmer than the rest. You would think that they would try to apply that throughout the state instead of just letting the other ones just be rowdy as fuck. But I guess they had their own way of dealing with things. So
Yeah, and see, my after my first 3 years, then I have older brothers. They were in different YA. Like I had one in YA, one in Nellis, one in oh my God, I have one brother in Nellis, and the other one I think was in YTS. And I'm like, this is crazy. And then my mom was already raising my cousin, so my brother and my cousin end up in YTS, and my other brother, my oldest brother, no, my oldest brother end up in YTS, and my cousin and my middle brother, they end up in Nellis, and it was just crazy. So she had 4 people to go visit.
damn,
So
all on the same days too.
Um, no, she had to.
Okay,
We had to pick. She had to. We had to rotate.
okay, man, that must suck. How did you ever feel like kind of guilty, like man, that's kind of fucked up what my mom's going through, maybe I should have calmed down, or were you just like, hey, that's part of life?
Honestly, I looked at it as a part of life because I wasn't a wild child, like I said.
Mhm.
And if my mother was alive, it's funny because my siblings used to get mad at me because she used to always say, although she went to jail because she got caught up, but she was my wanted child because she did everything I asked her to do. I'm the only one with a high school diploma. I'm the third child out of four of us. High school diploma, college degree. Actually, my brother, my oldest brother, he's in prison right now. He just got his high school diploma, turning 50, which I commend him on.
Yeah.
So, um, no, my mom
And you
knew I was the good one,
said you went
but I
you
knew I
went
was
to
gonna turn myself around.
yeah. You said well, when did you make that decision? Was it right away when you went into a YA, or did it take a few years?
When I found out I was becoming a mom,
Okay.
I was
Yes.
like, okay, now it's time to act mature. I've always been mature, but it was time for me to grow up to
Yeah.
become a parent. Whether my son and I were miles apart, when my son came to visit me, I was mom. I was
Mhm.
never, oh, hi, Petra. I was always mom and stuff. And the first time I got to see him, he was like 6 months. His first 3 months, he stayed in the hospital. So my mom, both his grandparents, will take each weekend together, driving their cars to go and visit him because I couldn't.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you went to college, you got a degree. How was it going to college? Were you nervous about that? Were you like, oh man, like it's gonna be a lot different than what you experienced as a child, like when it came to the incarceration? Were you nervous about it, or were you just like, hey, this is another part of life, let's do it?
A part of life.
So you kind of, the way you just tackle things is you just go with it. You just like you see if there's an obstacle or anything, you're just like, fuck it, let's tackle it and then see where we go.
Yes. Yep.
That's the way to do it. Cool, cool. And how's life now? You've been out of the youth authority for what, almost 2 decades, right? Maybe three. It's
Since
gonna be 3 decades.
1995.
Yeah, so you've been out since
Almost three
then.
decades.
Yeah, how is it? How has life been since then?
It's going real good now. Um, I got me a nice, pretty 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom condo. I work, and I mean, my daughter. I rubbed off on my daughter. She just graduated from college at 22 and opened up her own business.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So, life is good for me, and I'm glad I was one of the people that recognized the streets and some friends wasn't for you,
Yeah. Well, I'm
and you
glad it
gotta
worked.
always have faith.
I'm glad it worked out. And before we ended, did you have anything else you wanted to add or anything you wanted to say?
No, I would just like to let everyone know that life is a choice of what you make it, and your action speaks for you. And and remember, for those who have kids that are young, or still elementary, junior high, high school, or going to college, we represent them. They don't represent us. So whatever we teach them and they go out in the streets and they do, it's because of you.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Well, I appreciate it. That's Petra right there. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. I wish you well, and glad. Thank you again, and everybody
Thank you, and
else.
thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for everybody else. We'll check you out
Okay.
again. We're out. Peace.
Peace.